You, Vijay, all makes sense. I noticed you said something interesting. You used the words the type of people you attract, and that to me sounds like you know you are either inherently or manifestly acknowledging the law of attraction, or if
Yeah.
not, how do you attract certain kinds of people or certain kind of events or certain kind of success uh, or certain kinds of transformation into your life, and why do you use the word attract?
Um, I think it's a very natural function, Rohit. It's a very natural function. You can't pretend. You can probably pretend for the first two meetings. The third meeting, the person knows, right? So let's say if I had to say, okay, I'm just going to interact with high-powered CEOs, and that's the company I want to keep. That's the only company I really care about. I could go over there in a suit and talk my first game, my second game, right? By the third time, they know that I am not in that same uh, behavioral pattern, right? Because at some point, the people see through whatever it is that you are pretending to be. The same is true if I try to go into, say, a very religious group and said, okay, now I'm going to just do Gita chanting, right? I can carry that for a meeting or two. Third meeting, they know that this guy doesn't really innately believe in it, right? So very naturally over time, what ends up happening is people will form cliques. This is we term it as, say, wavelength matching, right? A lot of times we hit it off with a person immediately, even if it's a complete stranger. At a party you meet, and then within the first 90 seconds you say, I think I'll get along with this guy, right? Or this person. And then
Love
you
at first sight.
love at first sight, in a completely platonic sense as well, right? So it's
Sure.
not just about the look of the person, though of course that has a big impact, unfortunately or fortunately. But a lot of it is just when you start talking to people and start sharing interest, starts knowing, immediately you will say that the interests may not be completely aligned. There will always be things which you do differently than I do. But you say, I want to spend time with this person because it will rub off on me. It will rub off on me. And hopefully something of me will rub off on the person. And you just come out with that meeting with an uplifting sense toward life, right? And that's a very natural thing. And when I say uplifting, I don't mean to say that it's only spiritual type of people that will uplift you. Going back to my point, you have to be convinced about your own personality. So if I'm a very alpha person, right, I will not come out uplifted going into a meeting of meditators. I will have to move around with people who are just really very driven, right? And that's what I will have to do. I have
Sure.
to stay true to myself, sort of. So I don't intend to
Sure.
cast aspersions on any type of behavior, as much as to say that we will naturally bloom in surroundings which are conducive to our own personality. And then there's a separate angle about transformation, is that do I want to transform that personality over time? And it takes time. There is no magic bullet, right? Or the new age guru that you were talking about, that, okay, listen to some chanting and overnight you will feel like a different person next day. Not going to happen. Not going to. People do not change overnight. Unless there is a life-changing event. Definitely I've seen that you suddenly have a heart attack, and then from next day you say, I'm going to be doing exercise, mindful eating, clean thoughts, all of that. You have to have a heart attack to have that change. In the normal course of business, you have to work toward it. Like in any other thing, you are an expert guitar player. You did not become a guitar player overnight.
But what if one, sorry, I want to move to the next question, but just on this point, what if one chants, says Om, and draws in source energy day after day after day after day after day for like 1 year? Surely there'll
Yeah,
be an impact.
absolutely, absolutely. But it took a year.
Yeah.
And it took a year of concentrated meditation. If he's doing Om, but he's thinking about, I don't know, pleasure, sexual pleasure, right? Not
Okay.
going to happen, not going to work. He'll have a different kind of growth, fine.
Yeah.
But after a year of that Om, he will not have imbibed the meaning of it, sort of. So, but it'll still
Yeah.
take a year, and a year of deep practice. So you have to do that.